Well, Tamiya fans, just when you thought you had all of the Tamiya chassis designations memorized, they came out with another one. This is the GF-01TR chassis, and as you can see right here, it is the classic Monster Beetle body on top. This is a pretty interesting kit. It's a kind of a mix of some kits that they already have out there. The GF-01, like the dump truck I have back here, and then the TR comes from actually the 6x6 that I have back here, the Dynahead, which had the portal axles on it, and the body on this is a new scale for them. So, although it is kind of a parts vintage type of vehicle, they created a new truck for us to just go have fun with, really. And, you know, why don't I just give you some of the details of it, because we've seen this stuff before, so I don't want to go into crazy detail about it, but the GF-01 chassis is a four-wheel drive chassis. It uses a monocoque chassis, and inside the chassis itself is where all the gears are for the transmission. So it's got a series of gears that goes to the front, series of gears that goes to the back, and a motor sits directly in the center of this. Now what's pretty neat about this, it does have gear differentials. However, like the TR, which was meant for kind of terrain crawling, they give you this putty to put in the differentials to basically lock it up. It doesn't make it solid. If you really twisted on it, you could, you know, kind of turn the differential gears, but it basically locks it up so, you know, it could crawl like almost like a locker does for a crawler type of truck. So, you know, also in the driveline, there's metal outdrives, metal axles, metal dog bones in this, as we've seen before. Bushings throughout most of the driveline. There are some bearings and there are some bushings in this. You'll find a lot of those bushings and bearings in the portal hubs on this, and since I'm talking about the portals, this is where the gear reduction is that is going to give this truck, you know, the power to go and crawl and climb different things out there on the trails or wherever you're going off-roading. So that is basically the driveline of this. Now the GF-01, it had independent suspension, so does this. It also has, you know, just friction style dampers. Kind of really wished that they gave you oil dampers on this, since it's a trail type of truck and you want to go crawl things and you really want to rely on those dampers other than the sprung suspension on here. But, you know, yeah, Tamiya offers a lot of upgrades, so I guess you could always go that route. But I really probably would have liked to have seen that on here. And, you know, other things that really set this apart, we've got the classic spring-loaded front bumper for when you crash into something, let's say, or maybe you bump into a rock while you're out there crawling. It does have the wheelie bar on back, which I found kind of interesting since this is kind of more of a trail vehicle. But we'll see if it has the power to lift the front end up. I know that with the dump truck over there, it definitely lifts the front wheels up. The body on here, let me skip over to the body now. So this is a 14th scale truck. It's the iconic Monster Beetle. This is the Monster Beetle trail version, obviously. And I actually just left it the kit red. It is a hard plastic body. And it's molded in red, obviously. I did go and paint the window trim on there, and then they do give you the clear plastic piece that makes up the windows and the sunroof, and then lots of chrome stuff. We've got the 3 lights up front, we've got headlights that are all chrome, and then in the back here, we've got the engine that's all chromed out as well, with the exhaust sticking straight up, which I think looks pretty cool, and a bit of a little cage in the back and everything. But it looks like a pretty sweet body on here. You know, it just kind of gives you that almost comical Tamiya look, you know, like they're coming out with all these comical vehicles, kind of plays along that line. And I like that route that Tamiya's taken. It just brings RC back to fun. Now that I've got the body off, let me show you a little bit more. Obviously, the battery goes up top here. They do go and give you the speed controller. It's the TBL02 speed controller. It is brushless capable. They do have a 3rd wire on here, but they do go give you the torque tune motor with this kit to, again, give this vehicle the power it needs to go climbing stuff. So it should be a lot of fun. I think it's just going to be a blast, this particular kit. It's a full build-up kit, really easy to assemble. The steering is mounted over here, the steering servo. I just got a basic standard servo in there for now. It has a servo saver and then a single crank over in the center that goes out to you know, adjustable tie rods. You're not going to need to adjust those, but you know, the option is there if you do want to do it. But that really wraps up this kit. Pretty simple, again, you know, to assemble. Should hopefully be really fun and easy to drive. And I think that these tires on here are really going to help out as well. This is their hybrid Chevron spike tire mounted on yellow rims, obviously, and it gives it that Monster Beetle type of look. and I still think it's going to have some traction out there, you know, for just having fun. I think this is what this new chassis is all about, just going out and climbing things. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out, find some stuff to climb, find some stuff to crawl, maybe see if it does some wheelies, and of course at the end of this video I'll let you know how it did. Well, Tamiya fans, it's time for me to tell you about the performance of the Monster Beetle trail. As you guys saw, I took it over to a local hiking trail and then over to a nearby dirt parking lot for some additional fun, and I really got a feel for this vehicle. Now, you know, as we kind of know, Tamiya fans know, this is built off of a wheelie chassis, and from the moment I pulled the throttle on this thing, it did a wheelie. Yes, even with the gear reduction and the torque-tuned motor, it just pulled a wheelie and actually rode a wheelie for a few feet, which was kind of surprising. Was not expecting that. So, you know, when you're out on a walking trail or a hiking trail and it just starts pulling wheelies, you're a little like, wow, what's going on here? And, you know, that didn't stop actually. So when I was out there on the trail, every time I would give the throttle a little bit of a punch with this, it would pull a wheelie. And so when you go out to crawl some stuff like I was expecting to do with this truck, it would just wheelie. And so when I was crawling up, trying to crawl up some hills, it would wheelie and roll over backwards. So I quickly learned what the word trail means on the name of this vehicle, and that means just kind of flat trail driving, to be honest with you. When I was in the flat areas of the hiking trail, where there was just some roots and some small rocks and stuff like that to go over, that's when it was fine. That's when it was a lot of fun. It crawled over some stuff with the little extra ground clearance it has from the portals. It's got the gear reduction in there as a cool factor to kind of get up and over some smaller hills and stuff like that. But anything with an incline, like we're used to driving with a regular trail truck, like let's say a CC01 that has much more capability to it, this won't do what that truck will do, what a CC01 will do. This is really more for just kind of general trail walking and stuff, going maybe to like a dirt construction parking lot and going over some mounds of dirt and stuff like that. Kind of just your low obstacle type of stuff. Really not a crawler, okay? That high battery in the back, just causes the front end to be light all the time. The other thing is with the larger tires on here and the lock differentials and the stiff springs, when you do get a wheel up on something and you want to turn and crawl off of it, when one wheel is just caught on that obstacle, it's kind of actually almost steers in the opposite direction of where you want it to go, because this wheel is pulling, has the traction, and it's veering off in another direction. So, if you really wanted this to be a crawler vehicle, this isn't it. You would have to do a lot of work to it in order for it to do that. So with that being said, where I really had fun with this truck was just going out in that dirt parking lot and ripping around in the dirt and kind of watching the dirt fly off the sides of it. There was some grass embankments that I was going over, and going through some potholes and stuff like that and watching it bounce around. And actually I spent almost a half hour, I was going to say 25 minutes, it was really like a half hour just driving around in that dirt lot. And so that's where I had the most fun with it. And that's where I think, if you really like this rig, you're a Tamiya fan, you want to experience everything Tamiya has to offer because they have some really fun stuff, that's where you really would need to go with this platform. And with that being said, it is a fun vehicle and I want to get a little bit more out of it. I think it's a pretty neat rig. And what I did was I put some crawler tires on there, I lowered the body down, I kind of started to think about projects and stuff like that. And I'll show you guys a picture of what I did. I think it's going to be, maybe a lot of fun if I did go and challenge myself to make this thing more of a crawler. And I think it could be possible. And if you guys want to see that, throw it in the comment section below. Say, yeah, Greg, do a project on it. And I'll add that to the list. I got a lot of stuff on the list, but I think that would be fun. I think, there is some capability there if you wanted to push it a little bit farther, but certainly, if you like this style of platform, the Monster Beetle definitely has a cool look to it. A lot of people have memories about it. If you want to add this to your collection, just keep in mind where you should really drive it. It's not a truck that you could just go onto a hiking trail with. It's more of just walking along on some dirt flat trails and stuff like that, and you'll definitely have a blast with it. Definitely check out everything Tamiya has to offer. If you like wheelie type of vehicles, they have a lot to offer there. If you want something more crawler capable, they've got the CC01. And what you really have to remember about Tamiya is they're trying to just give you a fun experience, really create some fun things so you could enjoy the hobby. You can enjoy building and watching what you create drive along a trail or a dirt lot or something like that. Thanks for checking out our review. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell, and we'll see you back here soon for some more RC fun.